bienvenidos al segundo seminario del World Financial Symposiums para América Latina. Hola, soy Jason Stebley, analista del Grupo Quorum. Durante el seminario, los panelistas van a hablar en inglés con diapositivas en español. Si tiene preguntas, utilice el apartado de comentarios a la derecha de su pantalla. Hi, I'm Jason Stebley, Senior Analyst with the Quorum Group. Welcome to the second World Financial Symposium's webinar for Latin America. During our panelists will speak in English with slides in Spanish. If you have questions, please use the comment box at the right of your screen. Pleased to sponsor this second WFS Market Spotlight for Latin America. Today's agenda includes a report on the last quarter of tech M&A activity in America, an introduction to some additional Quorum resources that will become available for the region, and a special report on reforms in Mexico and how they will affect tech M&A. On Quorum Vice President Jeff Brown out of Houston.
Jay, thank you. Well, in July, we took a broad look at the last 5 years of tech M&A in Latin America. And to wrap our findings, we learned that Brazil is the leading market for tech M&A, but deals get done regularly in the Spanish-speaking countries as well. IT services companies are the most popular target, but all types of technology companies have received strong interest, especially from international buyers. Most located outside the region, with most of them located in the U.S. And these are primarily driven from the buy side, meaning that there's significant opportunity for sellers who utilize a structured process in a global search. For this spotlight, we're going to tighten our focus to Q3 of 2013. During the period, the performance of the Latin American financial markets has been a little erratic, though stability remains the general theme. These of Chile, Colombia, and Peru are projected to grow more than 4%, and that's faster than Brazil. Mexico is attractive despite some slow growth of late. We're seeing more governments espousing pro-business philosophies and working to implement structural reforms to attract foreign investment. The valuation of local currencies relative to the dollar means that it is now cheaper for foreign investors in the region, which has a rich natural resources and a growing middle class. On the IPO front, we saw that Globant, a private equity-backed software and services company in Argentina, filed on the New York Stock Exchange. Globant will be the first technology company from Argentina to be listed on the ASE. With 25% of its employees in Argentina, yet North America accounting for 82% of its revenues, this validates Latin America as an effective operating base from which to deliver into the global markets. In total, about 25 deals in Q3 with Latin American tech sellers. Brazilian sellers made up the majority, but deals were also done in the big three Spanish-speaking countries of Mexico, Argentina, and Chile, as well as Costa Rica and Peru. As before, U.S. and European buyers still made the majority of the acquisitions.
Can you tell us about some of the biggest deals in the last quarter and what they reveal about tech M&A region?
Sure, thanks. And we saw some big ones. Telecoms was the hot sector with a concentration of mega deals. Among the largest was the acquisition by Mexican satellite provider Satmex by Paris-based Eutelsat, $1.14 billion, which was a 9.4 times trailing 12 months EBITDA multiple. This deal buyer an 11% market share in Latin America, and the investment is a pretty clear statement of the Latin American tech sector will continue to grow. In particular, the demand for video services, data source volume, and broadband access will grow. The deal was dwarfed when Portugal Telecom and we of Brazil announced plans to merge, the largest telecoms company in the Portuguese-speaking world. The new company, based in Brazil and listed on the BF Bovespa, New York Stock Exchange, and the Euronext. Together, they have 37.5 billion reals, or $17 billion in revenue in 2012. And the combined company will have over 100 million subscribers across fixed line, broadband, and mobile. Other telecom deals in the region. America Movil, the telecoms giant owned by Carlos Slim, announced in August that it was going to buy the 70% that it did not already own of the cell phone operator KPN, 7.2 billion euro, or $9.5 billion. Spain's Telefónica announced last month that it was increasing its stake in Telecom Italia, which owns the Brazilian cell phone operator TIM to 66%. But Teca already owns the Brazilian cell phone operator Vivo, and Brazilian antitrust law prohibits a single company from creating two cell phone operators. So this will have to get sorted before the deal closes.
So Jeff, some impressive infrastructure-related deals indicating confidence is building in Latin America for the long haul. When do you classify an acquisition as a mega deal?
Jim, these are impressive deals. We consider a mega deal when a transaction's enterprise value is greater than $1 billion. They're bellwether deals, ones that point the way and build confidence. But there is activity on the smaller end of the scale as well. So let's take a look at some of those smaller deals, which we'll examine sector by sector. What we noted in the last webcast is that the number of horizontal deals have been fewer than in other sectors. In Q2, we saw signs that this may be changing as several deals were closed in the subsectors of ERP and document management. On the very end of our last webcast, Control Document of Peru sold GRM, a mid-sized New Jersey-based records and information management firm that had already 13 locations in the U.S. and 10 in China. This was the second deal for GRM this year, and they plan to continue to be acquisitive in Latin America. Competitors will likely move to acquire to avoid being shut out of the region by GRM. The result, an M&A hotspot in this Latin American subsector. Now, Critical continues to be a strong sector for tech M&A as well, with 7 deals completed in the last quarter, more than 25% of the total volume. Deals were announced by FleetCor in September, a public fleet and fueling payment solution company. They have 2 Brazilian fuel card providers, Servicos and DB Trans, for a total combined price of $300 million. The market responded well for FleetCor, pushed its share price up nearly 5%. Another reassuring sign for other public firms looking at the region. In another transportation-related transaction, the acquisition of Servicos Informáticos Info SA by Solera, a U firm that handles a range of automotive software solutions, from claim processing to repair estimation to automotive recycling. Solera already held a significant presence in Latin America, but Servicos SaaS solutions bolster them even further, bring them into the Peruvian marketplace. This is a reminder that even after establishing a foothold in the region, are still on the prowl for growth through acquisition. Now in the sector, one of the stories we've been following for a while here at Quorum is the ongoing consolidation of the online restaurant services sector, which includes order and delivery-related services websites. This is a global trend that is just as relevant in Latin America as anywhere else. This quarter, Hello Food, the global online delivery firm of the Rocket Internet Incubator in Berlin, expanded its presence in Brazil by acquiring 3 different companies, Jamaica, and Webcast Digitalis. Also in the Internet sector, 2 very similar acquisitions were made by San Francisco-based Internet companies to expand their South American presence. The first, late August, graphic design marketplace 99 Designs acquired Rio de Janeiro-based Logo Chef to expand into Brazil, shortly after having launched their own local sites for other parts of Latin America. And just a few days later, ticket website Eventbrite bought Argentina's Eventios for its American footprint. Eventios, along with London-based Lanyard, which closed the very same day, were Eventbrite's first acquisitions. In the IT services, traditionally the most active sector, with only 3 deals. All 3 involved major marketing houses acquiring local digital talent. Publix Group, while in the middle of its merger with Omnicom, picked up Voz Digital in Costa Rica and Affiliate in Brazil, while YPP acquired Brand Digital of Argentina. Both Publicis and YPP have been among the most active buyers of technology firms in general over the past few years, due to aggressive international acquisition strategies. So, in final analysis, deal-making this quarter provides further rationale for technology executives and investors in Latin America to be optimistic about their M&A prospects on the global market. Several growing technology firms in Europe and the U.S. are actively expanding into Latin America and acquiring companies in the region This proved to be an effective growth strategy. Risk, as we found, for Latin American sellers, however, is in isolating their focus on a single buyer that is a program with a seemingly attractive offer, and forget to calibrate their M&A value in the global marketplace. We know the deal is never done until it closes, and the first offer is rarely the best one. So most of the time, there's a better buyer and a better offer to be had. Jason, back to you.
Thanks. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Quorum's new Spanish language analyst, Alden Mendoza.
Gracias, Jason. Hola. Just wanted to let you know of a few new Spanish language resources that will be coming from Quorum Group over the next few weeks. We'll have a podcast in Spanish, including the report you just heard in English, and other research reports, and a paper containing the information from last month's report is available both at quorumgroup.com/LatinAmerica. We're also going to be holding live conferences in Latin America shortly, and you'll be hearing more from me about this in the near future. I'm excited to be part of providing these new resources to technology executives across the region.
We're excited to have you on board. Having a technically getting Guillermo Garay on the line for us, so hold on, bear with us just a moment while we see if we can get him connected. Okay. Unfortunately, we're having technical difficulty getting Guillermo Garay and Sandra Solis Vemus of KSA on the phone. Unfortunately, it looks like they're not going to be able to join us at this point. We will circulate their presentation to everybody on the call, and we'll try to get a recording of them and post it on wfs.com. I apologize for the inconvenience, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. We'll have an update with you shortly, and hopefully our friends from KSA. We will be seeing shortly down in Latin America on a 7-city road tour in Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey, and then down in Sao Paulo, and in Argentina and in Chile. We look forward to seeing you then and at the next webcast. Thank you for joining us.